Hello and welcome here, everyone. We are set for week number 10 of the Indiana Esports Network Leagues across a multitude of titles here tonight. It is going to be Overwatch 2 action, and I'm very excited to be here, as of course we had an extended over the winter break, and now we are back into the action as we are entering the second half of the season. My name is Orbital. With me is, of course, the best man on the mic. Hot Sauce will be joining us here for this amazing best of 5. Hot Sauce, how you doing?
Doing great. Always an honor to be in the booth with you, Orbital, and excited for this one. Prairie Heights, the Panthers haven't had much trouble throughout their season. Currently 6-1, going to be taking on the Manchester Squires, who've had a little bit of a rough road, but have begun to gain some traction as well. They're currently even at 4-4 as well. So should be an exciting one here, and always interested not only to see what map we're going to start off on here, but as always, the compositions. Are we going to see a lot of that Malga still, or is Hazard going to come into play? Because he's a very annoying tank to deal with.
I think we've seen an adjustment of both, but before we dive any further into that, I do want to give a big shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, which we have quite a few here tonight. Zotac, of course, we want to give a big shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to them and their incredible support, we are able to put on this broadcast to all of you in helping showcase some amazing talent here in this Scholastic Esports side of things. If you want to go ahead and give them a shout out on social medias as well, go ahead, and if you see any cool movements here tonight, make sure to tag it as hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA whenever you post. Please go ahead and do that. As we dive in, I do want to mention, I love the fact that you pointed out a lot of those things have been shifting around. I mean, the Malga has been so prevalent across, and I normally see that during Control, but where would you prefer to see a Hazard? I guess that's a better way to put it, because if you're taking a look at Hybrid, if you're taking a look at Push or anything like that, would you prefer a Hazard, or is it more comp dependent than map dependent?
You know, I don't know. I feel like when you're in these high school divisions, a lot of that typical stuff that you might see in the pro or collegiate scene potentially can just go out the window. We see a lot of comfortability picks. We see some just kind of running what they know is a powerhouse, which I think traditionally is why we saw a lot of that Malga as well. So for me, I would just be interested to see anything other than Malga. That's what I'm excited for as we get this Overwatch, action kind of rolling back in. You know, some Orissas, some Divas, some Ramatras, just something that maybe isn't the meta. So, and of course, Hazard is new, but I've only had to go up against him a few times. He was very annoying for me to deal with anyway. He's got a lot of tools in the kit, so. Again, I won't be sad as long as it's not Malga versus Malga.
All right, well, you know, just for that, we're going to get Malga versus Malga, mostly because we're going to the prettiest place for Control. It is going to be Oasis to start things off. Now, to keep in mind with the IEN, we do have maps pre-selected. That way we get a nice variety, and teams do get a little bit more creative. Go into Oasis for the Control, and then as we move through the best of 5 for the Escort, I believe it is going to be Shambhala Monastery, and then Push will have Colosseo, and then if we move to Hybrid and Control again, it'll be Eichenwald and Antarctic Peninsula. So, in this best of 5, it'll be very fun to see what goes down here, especially once we route into the Escort and Push map.
Now, before we get into it, it would be a great time also to thank LandFest. Thanks to LandFest for building healthy communities throughout gaming. 23 chapters across 18 different states with over 150 events a year. So we strongly encourage you to head on over to landfest.com and hopefully check out an event coming near you.
Oh, yes, and make sure to jump all over that because, hey, we want to see out there adjust as well at all these events and hopefully having a grand old time. It looks like we are getting ready to start these matchups, and we can already see the rankings here fairly decent across the board, but I am curious to see what exactly we're going to see Prairie Heights bring out. The squad that has been rampaging through the brackets and through the group stage, they've done extremely well. As you mentioned before, only one loss on their record so far. Don't know if it's 5 wins or 6 either way. They are looking like the team to beat.
Yeah, I mean 6-1. They haven't had much trouble along the way. So, if you're going by what's on paper, you'd think that Prairie Heights Panthers is maybe a little more favorable here today. But I love a good underdog story, and you really you can never tell. I mean, it's just about showing up, playing together as a team, and of course, finding those compositions that work for you. But if something's not working, maybe not just a single person swapping a character, but a whole team maybe swapping that composition, looking for a dive to kind of disrupt that backline and things like that. So we'll see how cohesive these teams play here together in a best of 5. And as Orbital had mentioned earlier, starting out here on Oasis, so we get a little a best of 3 within that best of 5.
And that's my favorite part, mostly because whenever it comes to control, it gives, at least me, the biggest glimpse of brawl heavy styles. I love comps that are much more fluid in how they play, and I always feel, unless we're seeing a huge mechanical skill diff, it does really come down to one team will usually excel on control, and it always feels good for them. They're able to go very, very fluidly between offense, defense. And then there's one team that's like, unless we are only offense or only defense, then we can't do this. What we are getting is not Malga. We are getting the Junker Queen herself as well as a Winston, so this is going to be a good time.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't be happier. No Malga here. We see Glitch, now the Junker Queen, both kind of pressing toward this point here. Still 15 seconds to unlock, so really just trying to sustain this fight, be the team that finds that first pick and see if they can pressure on and capture the point.
Is that a life that I see in the backline for All Reaper? That is a wild pickup here, but for right now, it's helping out at least a little bit as we got 2 of the easiest hit scans out there. We got the Bastion and the Soldier ramping things up, as that is going to be a first contact win coming out for Prairie Heights as they take over Sanity, going ahead and racking up the kills.
Racking up the kills on that Soldier. Winston, the last to fall here as well. So for Manchester, they're going to have to find a regroup. But Sanity on this angle here, just continuously peppering in that damage. And the nice thing about Soldier, you have that heal. You can kind of alleviate some of that pressure off the backs of your support here. Hate already finding a pick on this Zenyatta as well, and just kind of working it to a T. Unfortunately, does fall to Sanity, so right back in the favor of Prairie Heights Panthers.
And again, in these doorway chokeholds, it's very, very difficult without your tank to bust on in if you're trying to do this very frontward facing. And now you just bring out the Bastion, you go ahead and roll on through. Easy destruction, and it is going to be second contact, the first real offensive fight that Manchester has had in the books for Prairie Heights defense.
Yeah, I love watching a good Junker Queen in action as well, and really eating up a lot of this space. Has to thank the support here as well, though, keeping them high and dry. And as they continue to push forward, another pick onto Sticky Ninja. They're kind of staggering Manchester here as well, and I'm actually surprised at how far they are forward. Potentially, they could punish Prairie and look to maybe take over the point, but Prairie's having no part of it at this point.
No, even Glitch having to swap out the tank side, just trying to get a couple of those balls down and trying to create space with the DPS, but it's just not working. Again, when it comes to hit scan, it just feels way better at points. If you got the right DPS players, you're gonna be able to win some fights. I mean, Sanity's taken low, but East Nebula and Squad roll right through. There ain't a chance in the world as Manchester have to regroup.
Yeah, I like the fact that Manchester is comfortable swapping. We do see the Sigma coming out as well, but still, it's just tough for them to find any space here with Junker Queen up in the front line. Bastion all coming down here as well, trying to mitigate it, and we will see the Tranquility popped here as well. Sanity still able to find a pick in the mix, and with that, the player advantage remains favoring Prairie Heights Panthers and FC Bar King, and East Nebula finding those final picks. 100-0 is quite the performance for the opener here.
I mean, we kind of expected this. Manchester, we knew that they are starting to be on the up and up, but that doesn't mean it's always been easy. And facing off against a stronger opponent right now, this might be kind of that wake-up call of, okay, we were doing well, but we need to do better. Prairie Heights so far very controlling and moving into the second round. I'm curious to see how it changes up. We got a Junkrat now on the other side, and we're also swapping around who's got the life. Dark Lobster now on the life, as we got a Juno coming in for All Reaper.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was about to mention as well. We see Juno now on that All Reaper. Prairie Heights really showing they're comfortable swapping roles or characters here as well. East Nebula now on the Reinhardt. So we do see the Sojourn coming out sticky, swapping to the Ana here as well. So trying to just mix things up a little bit, but they might have trouble against this shield of Reinhardt.
And again, in these enclosed spaces, you can go ahead and lock them down inside of corner. You bring the shield out and have the rest of your team there. What a shot and a half, though. A wallop washes through, as that is going to be a team kill for Prairie Heights.
Prairie Heights, and it's East Nebula with a Quadra coming in with a hammer time, baby. And that very well could be the play of the game here for Control.
That was dirty. It felt like you saw that start up. Prairie Heights knew exactly where Manchester were going to route. They went straight to the door. You shoulder check in, get a great slam down, rest of the team backs you up. It was so clean. And now a Shatter catches too. And it's easy to hold on to more. Dark Lobster getting into the action, as that'll be hate as well as Sticky, Corbin, and Glitch. Another team wipe, as that is 2 in a row against Manchester Squires.
Yeah, a double for Sanity and then a double for East. And it's like, if it's not East fighting the kills, Sanity on these great off angles as well, just peppering in a hailstorm of bullets to find these additional picks. And Prairie Heights continues to dominate the point here. We saw that last one was 100-0 and kind of on track or on point here to do the same in this second sub-series.
You got to go ahead and fight your way in as well. So let's see what they can do. This is going to be a little bit touch and go, though, as Prairie Heights now getting collapsed on. That'll be East Nebula falling very quickly. Corbin with a great rush down. Now the rest of the team for Prairie Heights has to hang on, but it looks like they're getting cut out here. Corbin swapping over to the Reaper, saying, yes, let's bring the damage down. Goes SC Barb and Dark Lobster to fall all the same. Corbin is running rampant right now, and it seems they found their home on the Shotgun King.
Yeah, Reaper coming through clutch there as well, but you got to wonder if it's too little too late. 76% is quite a bit, and it's really just potentially one fight territory. If they make some swaps, they might be able to get back a little bit quicker, but East Nebula here up top, now on the Doomfist as well, continuously showing that they're comfortable on many different characters, finding the pick on Sticky, and that's really going to open things up here for Prairie.
They had that locked and loaded to go yet again. Glitch the only one to stay alive for the moment, but you are quickly dominated. And just as fast as Prairie Heights took that round, the first touch, they do it again.
They do it again and again. The percentage is so high at this point that I think Manchester's going to kind of feel that pressure and need to rush in there, but it doesn't matter because the Panthers are eating up all of this space again. They're so comfortable pushing forward and looking to find these picks. It looked like Manchester maybe had one slip by, but it wasn't for long. Hayden, Robin, Corbin both go down here as well. The overtime fuse is lit, but it's quickly going to dwindle away. And Prairie Heights Panthers looking to close this first sub-series out until we get a couple scragglers hanging around. But Doomfist and the crew are quick to clean them up. And with that, the Panthers will be able to clutch up round number 2.
I mean, it's not even a clutch, really. Let's call it what it is. Prairie Heights showcasing why they are so dominant here in the league. And you called it earlier. I'm gonna wait and see. I think, yeah, this is going to be that play of the game. It's gotta be that doorway punishment. Watch this right here. Once again, slam 1-2, and then a shockwave right on with the backup from the rest of the team. This is why they picked the Reinhardt. It is so easy to control the entirety of the opposing team.
Yeah, and it's just a really, really great situational awareness from East Nebula there as well, kind of forcing all of those members into that tiny hallway, making it easier to secure that hit on multiple targets with that flame strike. So a great positioning all the way around, really. Prairie Heights just showcasing a lot of skills and showing why their record is what it is on this season here as we head into week 10, and already a dominating performance to open things up. But I often talk about it. I kind of struggle sometimes on Control. I prefer those hybrid maps, those escort style maps. So maybe a different map in hand for Manchester is what they need to look to turn things around.
I mean, they're hoping so, but right now it looked overly dominant. So I'm curious to see who is coming out on the attack first and who is coming out on the defense. It looks like Prairie Heights will be the first to fight. You can go ahead and see here for Manchester. You got to try something. And I mean, this is... How do you get your head back into this? That's my question to you, Hot Sauce. How do you get your head back into this matchup when the control was that overwhelming?
I mean, hopefully you have a great coach or a great team captain that just says, hey, those things happen. We're here to learn, get better, but ultimately we're here to have fun. So we take a deep breath, we reset, and we just do the best that we can and see what we can do against this nearly undefeated team. So you take those small victories as a learning lesson as well, and you just kind of power forward. We see Glitch now swapping off of that tank row, Corbin kind of stepping up into that tank position as well. And so even when they're down or currently losing, it's great to see teams that are, like I said earlier, not only comfortable with swapping through characters, but comfortable swapping roles as well. So again, maybe this can be the little spark to ignite that spectral fire here for Manchester.
I mean, you say that, and yet Dark Lobster is doing the exact same thing as they're now on Doomfist, and East Nebula is like, great, let's play the junker. Let's play with a little bit of junk. And I love that both teams are showing that level of power as we even have a Mercy Bastion setup. This is a wild difference, by the way. This is such a weird dynamic that we're watching right now, as Corbin's going to hold the high ground with that shield, praying to get some extra help, but they get lost in the sauce as East Nebula goes in for a close quarters melee, drops to Dark Lobster is taken out, but the damage has already been done.
The damage has been done, and hopefully, though, maybe they can find something here for Manchester with that tank being down and Corbin still being up. Unfortunately, the picks come in. It looks to like the pin to win, but it's not enough. And Reaper finding Corbin even without the tank. Prairie Heights Panthers still putting in the work.
And it's a great hold right now, really showing that, hey, you had a good sign, but it's not easy. A bar being able to live for just a hair is going to go ahead and get healed up on the backside. And now we're going to watch. All right, time number 2. Is anything going to change? No. And Corbin says, cool, we'll take that fight once again. Backing up with the rest of the team, trying to play this one very nice and narrow, but keep in mind that payload is continuing to move forward. The fight's taking an angle on the edge. Doesn't mean that payload stops. Take a look at that. They're almost at checkpoint 1, so Prairie Heights looking good. Corbin looking for a back line access, and is it going to work? Who knows? Dark Lobster also joining in with the rest of the team, but gets away from the Reinhardt. Is able to stay alive for just a wee bit longer.
Yeah, I'm surprised Corbin was able to make it out of those sports, able to keep him up. But it's East Nebula on the Riptire, Dark Lobster, FC Barb King. Everybody getting a piece of the action and looking for the cherry on top. The team kill not quite able to be there, but Reinhardt sees Bastion a bit out of position, looks to punish, but it's East Nebula again with the 2K. They'll secure the checkpoint and continue to push the payload. 4:30 left on the clock.
I don't see it stopping anytime soon either. East Nebula, I believe, has not truly gone down ever since that first death. And now they're just looking like bullies, and FC Barb King is allowed to kind of free fire like this. Take a look at this. Great open territory. You got a corner and a low bunker to work with. It's so easy to free fire. You saw someone go up to the second floor, but as long as your team's here, you can do work. Take a look. Manchester are playing so far back because they can't step up, and I'm not sure that's where you want to go right now. Finally trying to leap into action. Sticky Ninja going to try their best, but Corbin able to find it, as I believe the Shatter did wonders. Knocks down 1 or 2, catches East Nebula and Sanity, but FC Barb King is able to fight back and make it a little bit more messy still, though. Win overall towards the side of Manchester, but the escort, the payload is still moving forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, Glitch didn't find any value with the Riptire either, and so the payload continues to push forward for the Panthers. They have 3 ults on deck ready to flex, and so potentially looking for that, but maybe hoping to find this first checkpoint first and then find these picks, push that spot back a bit further, and they secure it with ease. There's really no contention coming in. Nebula will find Sticky Ninja as well, and with the player advantage, they will continue to fall like dominoes. Corbin will get a consolation prize, but it's East Nebula and the rest of the crew looking to clean up here.
I mean, all it is Corbin. And honestly, if they keep Corbin alive until the rest of the team respawns, that's great. You lost your tank for another couple seconds, and it's easy. Take a look at that. Now we're swapping over. We got another piece of the pie. You bring in a little bit of extra power, I should say. The drills out and ready to go here for East Nebula. East Nebula is just cycling through the characters at this point, just cycling through the heroes available.
Yeah, you know, he's just pubbing, having fun at this point. Absolutely dominating still. And
oh my gosh!
A bit of trouble. We'll find one, but it's Hated Robin that finds the trade. And with that, maybe a little life breathed into Manchester. But they're going to have to stand strong here for 350. I think it's going to be tough to prevent Prairie Heights Panthers, especially with 2 ults on deck and a couple more shortly away.
Yeah, this is looking like it's a well done round here. Prairie Heights looking so dominant in their battles, and Manchester are just at a loss for words. Once again, Corbin and Dexter were annihilated. These kills are coming in so slow. Glitch is finally able to find FC Barb King, and Hated Ramen finds another, but East Nebula's alive, and that's going to be the drill for victory as the ultimate finds 2. Right now, Manchester Overwatch are just lost in the sauce as they are praying. Revive comes in to keep the Barb King alive, and the payload continues to push forward. It's only a few more meters as the high ground will not be found, keeping that Junkrat off and away. Just another 2.5 meters and it will be finished. This is the type of game that we love to see from a team that has only lost once, and they continue their reign of supremacy.
Yeah, you know, Manchester slowing them down a little bit at the end. I mean, there was a couple moments where Manchester was able to squeeze away some fights and slow the payload down, but other than that really kind of first opposition, it was pretty easy strolling for Prairie Heights. So now they get a kind of swap to the defensive side of things here, and the pressure will now kind of be up to Manchester to see how quickly they can find that third and final destination, or if the Panthers will be able to hold them here.
Yeah, this is getting to be a understandably rough game. In Manchester, we need to see some spice. We need to see some spice leveraged in this game. I want to see some silliness. I want to see whatever you got to do to shut down East Nebula, to shut down Barb King, to shut down the likes of maybe even Sanity. These are all players that you do have to watch out for, and it's just becoming more difficult to do so. We still got the Doomfist out for Dark Lobster to open up, which to me is quite surprising, but we are getting the Sojourn. So we haven't seen this character yet throughout the entirety of this matchup. We're also seeing a Hanzo on the other side, so this could be this could be silly from either end. So both teams rocking a different DPS hero.
You know, if I was a bet man, and I'm not, but I would probably bet on East Nebula at this point. We've seen him do it on the tank. We've seen him now do it on multiple different DPS. So swapping over to the Hanzo, either this is I want to get a little better with Hanzo and I have some time to work on it, or yeah, I'm comfortable on a lot of different characters and I'm here to kind of just showcase my talent for everybody watching at home.
Well, maybe that talent is already in full bloom as this first engagement goes down, and Hated Robin immediately annihilates FC Barb King. Sanity gets a quick revive off and is like, yeah, we're not dealing with that today. Everyone is still very much alive. There's going to be an attempt at a first hold, but it's a good slow push coming out of Manchester Overwatch. This is going to be the side angle trying to be utilized here. Looks like the tank is a little bit alone here, as that's going to be Corbin run out of the show, and now the rest of the team from Prairie Heights are able to push in. The Panthers gonna round down, catch Glitch on the off angle, and now take out Corbin, which means the backline is easily accessed, as that is gonna be 5 dead delayed. That will be a great team wipe.
Yeah, I mean, Sticky even got the revive in there momentarily. So six kills in that fight there for the Panthers, and really did a great job of stalling out this initial push. I mean, no momentum really gained at all, and a lot of time eaten off the clock there in that first initial fight. And we kind of see them staggering out here a bit, not really playing together at the moment. So if they can find another early pick on Corbin just like that, it's going to be up to Manchester now to fall back and play safe. They don't want to continue to stagger out much like this without the tank. It does spell trouble. Barb King for 2, Lobster for another, and Barb says, let me get that triple real quick. The cherry on top. Corbin gonna have to wait for the rest of the crew to reload in.
I want to point out that was a bait and switch. Dark Lobster was able to bait Corbin into a shoulder check, was hoping to catch that Doomfist in a bad corner, but the immediate step back allowed FC Barb King to lay down so much damage. Again, the hit scan is just too good, and it's working wonders. Now another catch, as that is annihilation. East Nebula, Barb King, Dark Lobster drop 3 on Manchester, and there is almost no response. Sticky had to get the revive, but it's just so dang easy. How are they making this game look this simple? Prairie Heights with the Hanzo in the back line, and then East Nebula and Dark Lobster in the front line. This is just an attack from all sides.
Yeah, I mean, they're right at that front gate. None shall pass. The Gandalf stand here for the Prairie Panthers, and they continue to showcase these skills. Just now 1:35 left, and no gain ground here for Manchester. I don't know what really they could do different to try and switch things up here and find a little bit of ground. The ult comes in. Bark maybe taking themselves out in the process, but we will see a revive come in on both sides here as Manchester continues to try and find a little leeway.
The repair of both robots, and Dark Lobster's like, no, only our AI gets to keep playing here. That's how this is going to work. Corbin goes down yet again, and right now, this is now the second to last engagement that we are going to fully see, as we got a minute left on the clock, and Prairie Heights at this point looking grandiose, fighting at spawn door.
Yeah, and you know, just seeing some of those POVs, it seems like Manchester may be targeting this Doomfist a little too much, just doing a good job of being very disrupting and allowing the rest of the Panthers to kind of find their picks in bunches. We see Sanity, who was on that soldier before, now just flying around providing the heals, saying, I can dish the damage out, but hey, I can top off the heals too. Everybody's staying up. Nebula, the rest of the crew continues to find picks, and with just 28 seconds left on the clock, I feel like Manchester isn't going to get much more ground here.
Nope, this is going to be it, and quite honestly, it is well deserved. Prairie Heights have done so well in games 1 and 2. It feels like nothing is stopping them from continuing their charge. Corbin is able to find one, Glitch is able to find another, and maybe, just maybe, we see some signs of life, but they have to stay on top of that payload as much as possible. Corbin swinging into the back line, chasing in to help out, as right now I believe Dark Lobster is in that back line, just being a giant pain in the butt. Finally they go down, and we finally see Manchester push the payload.
Hey, I mean, you know, that's why you don't give up until it's over. Right now, the overtime fuse is lit, but if they could find a way to fight onto that next checkpoint, I mean, it would be a feat on its own here. So we'll see what they can do here now in overtime.
I'm sitting here just waiting for that first hat to drop, right? We're going to watch Prairie Heights look to just try and burst their way in. They have the ultimate out of Barb Kings. You got the artillery if you so wish. And yeah, you're going to launch it. Easy work here as you're going to force everyone off of this payload. And keep in mind, they have to stay on top. It just doesn't feel good. And that's going to create enough space. Dexter got shoved off map, which means no one was there. And that will be the win for Prairie Heights game 2.
Yeah, they continue to assert their dominance right now, showing that they're comfortable in multiple different roles and characters here as they put on another performance. And yet again, it's going to be East Nebula with a play of the game. This time, however, on that DPS.
And you just line them up. Look at that. It was well played by the entirety of the team. For a Hanzo, when you're looking at a projectile type, it's so simple. You go ahead and free fire just right down an alleyway where you know about 4 or 5 are going to be. And that's a GG. So, well played. Now moving in to our last map. And for that, it's going to be a whole different story. We're going to Coliseum where we're going to get the push map. And again, you lose 1 or 2 fights and things are going to go right for you. So Manchester has got to batten down the hatches.
Yeah, you know, and it's been a tough series for Manchester, but honestly, this is one of those things that can really ignite a team. I know, you know, it's tough being beaten, but when it happens to me, I like to get it and just research all possible things of what I could have done differently. Watch the VOD review back. What do these team compositions mean? How can I counter what's going on? And so it really piques my interest, and hopefully that's what we see here as Manchester goes forward. They continue to grow and learn and get better as a squad because they have a tough fight here today, but like I said earlier, we've seen moments of greatness from them where they have these shining moments and they stand out, they win some good battles, they're able to find a little bit of ground. But then Prairie Heights, they play so well together. They make sure to fall back and regroup. They make sure to not stagger and kind of fall into some of those simple mistakes. So they continue to play near flawless gameplay here today on the Panther side.
And honestly, we hope to see that into the college scene as well. And speaking of college, do you want to play esports in college? Well, now there is a way to do so by searching through hundreds of collegiate esports programs to see what they are, where they are, and what games they play, and even what majors they offer. Just go to portal.leagueos.gg to search, and IEN students can also sign in to manage their own prospect profiles, where all of their stats automatically update match over match, and of course, for free. There are scholarships out there for players as well as shoutcasters, social media managers, and more, so make sure you add all of your talents to your profile. Verified college esports coaches are searching LOS Portal now for promising prospects and reaching out to the ones that they like. Of course, with it being free, don't miss your chance to get discovered. Visit portal at leagueos.gg today and take your game to the next level. Let's get into it.
Yeah, right into it we go. Already some fighting going on around the point, which we'll unlock here momentarily. And again, we see a small switch in compositions. This time, East Nebula now on the support. And again, just wanting to show that they are that all-around player. The question is, can they secure that MVP for a third time, this time on support?
Well, it looks like Barb King might have something else safe for it. Real quick kill on the Corbin, and now putting Dexter, Ninja, as well as Glitch into really rough spots. As Glitch is like, yo, I see all Reaper using that life, and it's not working for me as much. First engagement going the way of Prairie Heights yet again.
Yeah, and honestly, Hated Ramen has done very well on the Zenyatta, often finding a couple picks at a time, but I wonder if maybe they are lacking just a little bit of sustain here to keep the rest of the crew up here and in some of these battles for a little bit longer, as Prairie already unlocking the payload nearly 50 meters as they continue to push toward the bridge.
Yep, this is just going to be that first touch and go. If you lose here again, then things are going to look even worse. Sanity back on that soldier. All Reaper taking quite low, and Dark Lobster as well, but the big heals come in, and you're going to be playing this one safe. Instead, it's actually Corbin who is taking quite low. Had to back away to get a little bit of healing, but Dexter is now going to get caught out. Hated Ramen might be in a sticky situation of their own, but Sticky Ninja is the one that will fall. Down goes your tank yet again. First of this engagement, and take a look at that. The push, the bots, the wall will continue. That will be checkpoint number 1.
Yeah, Sanity taking themselves out with that grenade, though. And with that, Barb King goes down as well. And maybe an opportunity here for Manchester to swing the tide just a bit and find a little ground of their own. But again, you take a look at all the space that East Nebula continues to eat up in their spawn. So even though they have that advantage, it's still the Panthers who are kind of buying some of that time and continuing this payload forward here.
Yep, this is going to be an all or nothing out of Manchester. You have 3 ultimates online. You got some damage, but you lose your tank yet again. There ain't no chance. Dexter is finally able to find a kill onto Barb. Same into all Reaper, so Dexter might have just had to play the game for the team themselves, but Sanity was ready. A quick snipe with an ultimate of their own, as Soldier 76 is going to go ahead and track everyone into the corner. And keep in mind, the entire time this is going on, the bot continues to push. There is no answer from Manchester as they lose Corbin again. Same with Hated Ramen, and then Dexter sure to follow.
Yeah, they just can't seem to find a way to slow him down. And now East Nebula on that Lucio here as well. They have a couple ults here for the Panthers. Same for the side of Manchester as well. And they need to maybe pop these very, very soon here. We will see the Tree of Life coming up as well. But is it going to be enough? Nebula is the first to fall in this fight. Sticky Ninja now on the Orisa, looking to power forward. Barb King up on this Bastion, continuing to rain down the hailstorm of bullets, and they can't be stopped, they can't be slow, they won't allow it.
All right, Prairie Heights, who the heck did you lose to? That's my question. Who did you lose to? When you look this dang good, I don't know what happened. 3-0. Without so much as a sweat, Prairie Heights Panthers roll through the Manchester Squires.
Yeah, I mean, just a dominating performance throughout the entirety of the series. And, with Nebula on support, Dark Lobster will get their moment to shine here in that play of the game. I mean, what a beautiful punch here as well, nearly getting that triple, certainly finding the assist and the pick amongst the mix there as the whole crew just playing so well together there. And for Manchester, like we said earlier, it's a tough loss, but honestly, there's a lot of great lessons to be learned here. There really are no losers, right? There's winners and learners. So for them, they got to kind of head back and look to maybe see some of that VOD review and question maybe what they could have done differently there to progress a little bit better. But at the end of the day, Prairie Heights just has a lot of talent across that team. They're 5-1 for a reason, and continuing to pad to that, now 6-1 on the regular season.
Yeah, I will always say there's a difference between losses because of mistakes and losses because the opponent just had a better day. That was Prairie Heights having a much better day. They crushed it here today in Manchester. I hope to see more. You guys are already at 50%. I expect them to continue so. But I gotta ask you, because of how controlling this entire series was, if you had to pick an MVP coming out of the Panthers, who do you think it would be?
I mean, probably Nebula, to be honest. I know we saw, again, a lot of great plays from everybody on the roster. It's hard to take away because Overwatch is such a team-oriented game, but we saw them get MVP on tank. We saw them get MVP on DPS. They performed very well on a couple different support characters as well. And throughout those other MVPs, too, they were swapping tanks and swapping DPS as well. So just showing that they're comfortable playing any role, just a great asset to the squad as a whole. So for me, that would have to be the MVP here today.
Gotta agree with you there. I mean, East Nebula really showing up. Huge shout out to the rest of the team as well for having such flexibility and the depth of hero selection to be able to play just about anything. That's what you love to see out of an Overwatch 2 roster heading into what could be the playoffs here in just a little bit. With that, though, we are done. Of course, for the IEN side of things, it was short but extremely sweet to taste. We are excited to have more action in the coming week as well, so make sure to stay tuned to all the socials and keep eyes on what the next game will be. Shout out once again to Zotac, Lamfest, and LOS Portal. Make sure to check all of them out if you get the chance. My name is Orbital. With me has been Hot Sauce. We have been your casters. We'll see you all tomorrow.